The troops simply called him Uncle Bill. General William Slim took command of the British and Empire forces in Burma in 1942. The force was in a desperate state. Slim renamed them the 14th Army and changed not just their tactics, but their mindset. They began to win against the Japanese.
Two things he wanted to instill into the army. One is the Japanese are not invincible in the jungle. They can be beaten, and he worked out what their weaknesses were, and he played on their weaknesses and built his own strengths. And the second thing is that the jungle is neutral, to use Spencer Chapman's famous phrase. You've got to learn to exist in the jungle, not be frightened of it, which, to be honest, British forces had been beforehand. They'd only worked on the roads, and because they stuck to the roads, the Japanese found it very easy to block put up roadblocks in effect, and then hook around the back of them. And British forces then would panic and try to withdraw. And Slim said, right, we're not frightened of the Japanese, we're not frightened of the jungle, and when they try to hook around us, we will simply let ourselves be surrounded, we'll bring all our supplies into the centre, and the Japanese need our supplies. The reason the Japanese were so effective was that they travelled light and they relied on capturing supplies from the enemy. And so by denying them the supplies, here, Slim created what he called a series of anvils, and indeed, the Japanese got more and more desperate as they ran short of food because they couldn't get to the food that they thought they were going to capture.
Oh, General Slim, he was marvellous. I met him up on the borders of Afghanistan when he came to visit us.
What was it about General Slim that was so admirable?
Well, he was so particular and so very special. I don't know how else to explain it, but he was really wonderful at his job.
There's lots of examples where he would just turn up and he just talked to them, and they said he didn't jump on ammunition boxes, and he didn't do any barrack room slang. He didn't sort of go out of his way to try to be one of them. He was automatically one of them, and he just talked to them, and he spoke to them with the vision of their commander, but the honesty of their platoon sergeant. And that was the point. He was totally honest with them, but he had the strategic vision of their commander, and he convinced every one of them when he spoke to them.
He did care about his troops, and they knew he cared about them, and they knew that he wasn't going to send wave after wave against an untakeable position, because that just wasn't the way he operated. That's probably why they called him Uncle Bill, because he looked after them. And it wasn't just in the battles. He looked after them by bringing the hospitals up to be behind the line. So instead of the agony of being wounded and having to travel nearly 900 miles back to Delhi to a hospital, or less to Calcutta, you actually travelled 30 miles and there was a hospital, and that was much more of a bearable experience than a long journey over bumpy roads.
Well, we had great faith in him. That was the main reason. We know that he was one of the best leaders we could probably have out in the jungle, and he was.
Well, I'm immensely proud of what he did, and I came to learn about his achievements because I used to attend a lot of Burma Star reunion events. So there was a plaque put on the house he was born in Bristol, and hundreds of Burma Star veterans turned up. And you'd start talking to them, and you could tell by the way they spoke about him that he was something very special, because they absolutely adored him. And he must have been a very good commander because his men liked him a lot.
Thanks for watching. For more from BFBS Forces News, like and subscribe to our channel.